All right, my friends, what is going on? Welcome to an all new episode of Georgio Says, the podcast. Oh, it is Thursday, August 28th. Just a few more days left in August. Summer is officially coming to a close, but we were dropped a gem today, my friends. Yes, that's right. Real Housewives of Potomac trailer for season 10 came out today. And Karen, who the ladies clearly clocked in. We're going to dig into it. We also need to cover off on some headlines. And I'm going to need to get some things off my chest before we do that. So let's just jump right on in.
We need to talk about this. Talk about this.
All right, now, here's your host of the Georgio Says podcast. It's Georgio.
We need to talk about this.
All right, my friends. So first, before I jump into anything, I need to get something off my chest, okay? So I have been an avid watcher of, there is a podcast called The Cutting Room Floor, okay? It's on Patreon. You have to subscribe, but she does so many amazing interviews on there. So if you know who I'm talking about, you know that podcast, like Morgan Stewart. She just recently had Gwyneth Paltrow on there. She infamously went viral on TikTok for doing the interview with Steve Madden because he's very notorious for not really doing interviews, but he was very, very transparent and very real in the podcast episode when she interviewed him. So I absolutely love her because also she is very much in the fashion world and is so very much intrigued by so many different facets of that, plus all the other genres. Nonetheless, she is, in my opinion, a very good interviewer. She has great questions. And as someone who has a podcast and wants to eventually have more interviews on this one, I do like watching her because I've learned a lot just from the way that she kind of handles interviews. But nonetheless, she put out a job posting. Now, the podcast is based in New York City. Okay. So keep that in perspective. She made a post saying that she had a job opportunity, basically a full-time job opportunity, and it would be 5 days a week in the office for basically an office coordinator. But I believe from the description of the role, it was very much could have been 2.5, 3 different roles wrapped into one. And the salary is where people started to become very like, it became a whole thing. It quite literally went viral, at least on my FYP. But the salary for this job, this full-time job where you have to be in the office 5 days a week and you must live in New York City, okay? $55,000 a year. No benefits, okay? Now, obviously, people were very much enraged because they're like, well, hold on a second. You are asking for a lot in a climate where it's really not great out there. People are really working hard to just stay above water. Some are barely treading water. And so the reaction to this job posting, mainly the salary and the fact that it had no benefits included, was very much a reaction that I think for someone like me who came from the fashion and beauty world, that type of job is actually pretty good. However, the role was a junior level. So not entry level even. It was junior level. And from what I've gathered from the way she kind of, spoke about the application process, was like basically she's not willing to sit here and teach you. If you can't follow directions, then don't bother, basically was the gist of her messaging, which then furthered this like enraged, response, because now people are like, oh, wow, you're doubling down. Now you don't even want to like help people. You basically are like, if you can't follow directions, then you're an idiot, then don't work here and don't even bother. so I got it from that standpoint. But I think also coming from the space that I came from, everyone knew it was crappy, but you either figured out a way to make it work because either you really wanted to get the exposure or you really wanted to work for the certain fashion house or just the opportunity that could lead you to where you want to go, right? That was very much the mindset of everyone around me when I was in that world. And I also navigated a little bit in that manner, although I probably wasn't as good about it as others because I wasn't willing to take basically like no money for like giving over all of this like free labor, but that's essentially what it kind of is. Not kind of, it really is. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people were also very much disappointed because so many people love, the cutting room floor. And listen, I'm still going to listen. It's not like I'm like saying she's done with. No, I think it's a learning lesson. I do think she could have advised, she could have been advised by HR. Maybe it would have been a good idea to bring on an HR consultant to kind of help advise her under like New York law, because I don't even think that's legal to, have someone work full time and not offer benefits. Nonetheless, she's been having a rough go at it since the job posting. And a lot of people have weighed in and given their opinion. And I would just like to say that, although, like I said, that was very much a normal thing and still is, where people are basically like, that's why I'm saying like 55,000. Yes, that's in New York City is like nothing, like quite honestly. And that's not being like a brat. That's just, I lived in New York. We lived in New York for almost 4 years. And we had a condo that we owned in DC that we were renting while we lived there. But it was very expensive. Like I sometimes I look back and I'm like, I have no idea how we did that, like paid for our apartment, which were always amazing, which is another reason why I'm like, how the hell did we manage to pull that off? But again, we were privileged because there was two of us as well, two people working, bringing money. Like, so it's different. But I'm saying like, if you're looking at it from like one person who's at the level of like out of college looking for something but she's also, the thing was asking for a couple of years of prior experience. So it's not entry level again. So people were really just not feeling it. So I guess my thing is like, for me, like I've grown a lot since January, but I'm not going, I could hire someone like admin wise to do like outreach and do all the things like the emails but at the end of the day, I wouldn't take the position at that rate. Like I wouldn't. So I'm not going to offer it then. That's not, I don't care if it's like the bare minimum wage. Minimum wage is just bare minimum, in my opinion. It's not giving someone value. It doesn't motivate people long term to want to be connected to whatever it is that you are building. And in my humble opinion, which means nothing in all of this, just so we're clear, is if I were to have a position open, and at some point there will be, but when that happens, it's going to be at the value of what I'm looking for, meaning what is the marketplace paying for this type of experience? Do I have the budget to sustain that? If I cannot, then I don't have any room to be hiring anyone. That's what it means to me. You know what I mean? But if I have to cut corners and say, oh, I'm not going to give you vacation time, no sick days, you better be here every day, 5 days a week, and you better produce and don't ask me stupid questions. I'm not really, in my mind, I'm not really going to expect whoever this person is, because truth be told, someone will accept that position and that salary and figure out a way for it to work. And there'll be various categories of different types of people that can take that. Some people are, financially taken care of, so they can take a job with basically no benefits and just get their like foot in that way. There's going to be people that are married that don't have to worry about that part of the financial income of the household bit. So yes, there's a plethora of different people. So my point though is that also when you look at it from asking applicants on social media, you're not necessarily, in my opinion, going to get the best quality candidates. You're going to get a bunch of people who just simply want to do something cool, right? Which is fair. It's being broadly posted for a reason, but again, it's like you're just making it really hard on yourself. So I guess for me, like I would say, if you're not able to pay a livable salary based on the junior level, in my opinion, 3 different job position descriptions in one, then I would say then you're not ready for that. And maybe you should bring on a technical consultant to help come in and build AI, AI components in your processes to help mitigate whatever it is that you're needing from this position, right? That is, in my opinion, where you would leverage more time without burning out. That would be my opinion to her. But again, I love the cutting room floor. I suggest you guys check it out. The latest episode with Gwyneth Paltrow had me rolling. Gwyneth Paltrow is so much cooler in my book now after watching that interview. But yeah, anyways, that was my rant. I had to get it off my chest. That's what's been on my FYP, at least on TikTok. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, please chime in, weigh in on your opinion, because I would love to know. I'm dying to talk about this with people, but I don't know who else to talk about it with. So anyways, all right, let's go ahead and jump into some quick headlines, and then we're going to talk about what was in this trailer for season 10 of Real Housewives of Potomac. My.
It's time for the headlines. We need to talk about this.
All right, guys. So we need to discuss a couple things. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because I made a video yesterday. First of all, I'm very disappointed in Us Weekly because I get it. The news cycle has been a little slow lately. I will agree with that. However, I wonder who is approving these articles that are not only just a headline, they're now saying exclusive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you missed my Instagram or my TikTok about it. But essentially yesterday, I posted about Us Weekly writing this exclusive hot story on Katie Janela. They got their hands on some court documents that basically showed that in June of 2025, she was pulled over because she was using her cell phone, and that's a big no-no everywhere. And I wish people would stop doing that altogether. But nonetheless, she was stopped for that. And I guess in the process of that, they discovered that she doesn't have a California driver's license. Now, yes, that is a big no-no because in most states, right, you have about 10 to 15 business days from the time that you move to the said state to go to the DMV and get your license switched over to said state, right? Because otherwise everyone would just be floating around out here. Totally makes sense. Did I do that? No. So when I read this article, I was like, okay, these are traffic violations, right? This isn't anything like crazy wild where it was like it needed the exclusive. Like there was nothing really exclusive about it. It would have been the same to me as if she would have gotten a speeding ticket or was going way above the speeding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's an infraction, but it's not that deep, right? So at any rate, this article is basically going on and on, basically claiming that in the system, I guess the court system, it's still showing as open. My thing is, look, someone on the cast or someone on production clearly wanted that out there because this happened back in June and the information was available back in June, definitely in July. Why is this coming out now? Right? What is the point? So that's where it's like, because this is clearly such a stupid story and headline, it's clear that it was like pushed out through someone, because I can't imagine people at Us Weekly, the editors and the people that are approving these stories, are like, yes, that is it. That's going to get the clicks. No, it was ridiculous. Also, I I really question what we're doing here with this whole thing, because tonight we have a new episode of Orange County and Miami. But on Orange County tonight, this is the episode where they do this lie detector test. And it's like, what? Why are we doing this? And with him, this is the same guy that does all of the, like, why are we doing lie detector tests and then thinking whatever comes out of those are going to be anywhere near, like, no one even gives a crap about those anymore. So, like, that's why to me it's just unnecessary. But like, I get it for the show. They're trying to make this like dramatic effect. But what I will say to Us Weekly is like, come on, guys, do better. Do better. That is not anything worth writing about, nor is it exclusive. Quite literally public knowledge. Nonetheless, so jumping over from Orange County to Beverly Hills, man, oh man, Denise Richards is going through it. And this whole divorce with Aaron Vipers is going to be a big, big, disgusting mess. Okay. A big, big mess. I can't even tell you the amount of stuff that was going through my head when I read through this People magazine article. I think it came out either yesterday or the day before, where they're discussing that Denise Richards on August 19th filed a court order to have Aaron and I guess his family, his parents and his brother, vacate that home in Calabasas. And she also inserted photos from inside the home. And I will post them. If you're watching this podcast episode, they'll be posted here for you to see them. If you're listening, you can go to People magazine, or you can just watch this episode. Actually, just watch this episode. If you listen to it in the car, wherever you're at, that's fine. Just come back, watch this part of the episode, and you'll see these photos. But nonetheless, it looks wild, like how anyone's living inside a house that has the amount of, it literally looks like hoarders. There's so much stuff. Now, Aaron, he always seems to have a response to everything that's happening, which I think is very convenient. But nonetheless, he's responded to these photos and said, yeah, it looks like that because all that stuff is Denise's, and she just left it there. Oh, and also, the reason why I had to strip the floors was because you couldn't even breathe in there. That's how disgusting and horrible it was. So basically, here's what it doesn't. This is where his story is just complete bullshit. Is, first of all, Denise moved out of that home in Calabasas 2 years ago at this point. And that's when she rented those 3 townhomes. Okay. Because your parents, your brother, just never left. And so she let you and family and co stay in that home in Calabasas. Now, what I didn't know was I had the assumption that she owned that house, or that it was her home that she was on the lease for. That's not the case. Apparently, according to the article, it's Aaron and Denise on that lease. So that does change some things when it comes to, like, when in the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, you should be the one to get out of her house. Well, it's like, it's both of their house. However, for a house that's being leased and for Aaron to be ripping up the floors or whatnot because he says it's not breathable, well, what were you doing the last 2 years? Because that didn't happen. Like, so it sat like that even when you lived there? Is that what you're trying to say? So that's where his shit doesn't add up for me. And so anyways, he's a piece of shit. I think we all can agree on that here. However, I feel for Denise. I really do. She seems to have a really shitty track record with picking men. She definitely has a type, but again, it never seems to land in a good spot for her. And I think the one thing for me that sticks out a lot in this is the children, like Eloise, for instance. Like, he's also trying to play that card. She had Eloise before Aaron came in the picture. Now he's trying to say she never went and filed the adoption paperwork officially. So yeah, probably because in the back of her mind somewhere, she knew better. She just probably told you, yeah, let's fill this stuff out. I'll file it. Don't you worry. But it's a good thing that if that's the case and it didn't end up being, resolved and in fact he's not the adoptive father of Eloise, then that's good for her, in my opinion, because we don't need this. And if she is supposed to be able to leave, like that's my point. How are you living like this? How are you letting your parents live like this? So, at any rate,
Baby gorgeous, and I love that.
Cut. Let's try that again.
Vita baby gorgeous, and I love that. I missed my line. What the Gary? Cut! Vita baby gorgeous. What a baby gorgeous, and I love that. Cut!
Let's do it again.
Vita baby gorgeous, Hondas. I love that.
Cut. Vita baby gorgeous. I love that.
Vita baby gorgeous. I love that.
Hi baby gorgeous. I love that.
Cut.
Shop the new merch collection from Georgio Says.
That's a wrap, folks.
Lisa Barlow.
okay, we need to jump into the tea that was spilling from this season 10 trailer of Real Housewives of Potomac. So I don't know if there was any Scooby-Doo clue that this was coming today, but thankfully it is. My only hang up is I feel like we don't have enough content as it is. And I feel like we're spreading things out every month. And it's like, it feels like we're just going to have like one franchise to watch per week. But maybe I'll be wrong because I know Beverly Hills will be coming soon as well. So hopefully things start to pick up in the pace in terms of like the TV schedule, because right now it is a drought. It is a drought. But nonetheless, Potomac will not be disappointing us from the looks of this trailer, at least, because, we don't have Karen Huger, although Karen Huger is said to be released as early as this coming Monday. Okay, so she will probably more than likely come back for season 10. Nonetheless, this trailer was amazing. First of all, it starts off with Giselle writing Karen a letter to send her in jail, and it's kind of the whole like overarching theme of the trailer of her just basically like writing her to update her while she's away. Brilliant way to edit this trailer because people were on the fence after last season being so horrible, and the fact we also do not have Mia, because obviously Mia is now living in Atlanta. But we did get 2 new housewives, and Tia and Angel will be joining them full time. And we have Jazzy back as friend of, and then we have Monique Samuels back as friend of as well. Now, from the looks of it, it seems as though Stacey will be the troublemaker, the villain. I'm not sure. Definitely the troublemaker. Definitely the messy one, because we do find out in the trailer that she confesses to Wendy that she lied at the reunion. So, not that that's a shock that she lied at the reunion about the whole TJ situation, because he outed it. And also it was clear that this whole thing was set up, this whole relationship. But also what's interesting is that we see in the trailer that perhaps TJ wasn't only a reason for her to get on the show and have a storyline. It was also perhaps maybe to try to get her husband back. We do finally get this glimpse of the husband. He, I guess, agreed to film with her. Maybe he watched and was like, yeah, there might be some potential here. Who knows? Okay, but we get a glimpse of him. That'll be interesting. But it's also clear that we have Kiarna and Wendy having a falling out. Okay, I'm not sure. They are screaming at each other about they both don't effing like this. Oh my gosh, this is my podcast. I can cuss on here. Sorry. Obviously some platforms I can't just openly like curse. But anyways, yes. They're like yelling at each other, being like, no, you don't fucking like her. And they're like, no, you don't fucking like her. But anyhow, so there's a fallout there. Then we have Stacey again in the mix. So Stacey did something right because she's in the middle of a lot of the mess. Okay. But nonetheless, there's a moment where Kiarna is yelling at Stacy and saying, "I would never trust you around my husband." And Stacy responds with, "You don't have one." It was actually pretty brilliant. No, it's going to be fantastic. But also, we do get Monique back and we get the sit down we've all been waiting for. We all have been waiting for this sit down, you guys, ever since the infamous reunion in the book. Okay. We have a sit down with Giselle and Monique Samuels herself. This is going to be fantastic television. I'm telling you right now. We also have Monique back in the mix because we find out via Ashley that the rumor around town is that Stacy was trying to get with Chris Samuels, Monique's ex-husband. Are you kidding me? Wild. Wild. Now, it seems Stacy's also trying to out some business of Giselle, saying that she's had this boyfriend. I guess, Giselle's trying to keep some stuff private, which she should learn by now that she is not going to be able to keep any of those types of relationships private. Not as long as she's on a hit reality show. No, I'm very excited for this season. I truly am. I think you guys know from last season as I recapped it, it was really just a flop. There was a lot of broken pieces. These two housewives, Tia and Angel, I think were really fantastic based on what I saw. So I think, there was already rumors that they were joining. We just weren't able to confirm whether they were going to be full-time or not. And it seems that they earned their flute. So congrats to them. And I am very much looking forward to watching. October 5th can't get here fast enough. Waiting these, it feels like everything just is so spread out, you guys. Also, really quickly, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 3. Am I a lunatic? Did I lose my mind? Am I on a different timeline? Is this the Mandela effect? Did I not understand that we were getting season 3 in September? Did I make that up? I then thought maybe I perhaps did make that up. So then I went on TikTok and I noticed there was a ton of people in the comment section of the promo video that they released about the date for season 3. And everyone was like, yeah, it's September. I even planned it around that. There's people saying they planned watch parties because it was in September. Then we find out today who's like, no, bitch, it's November 13th. November 13th? You're making us wait that much in between seasons when we know that you were pretty much wrapped and done filming season 3 when season 2 dropped? What is this, HBO? Like, why are we waiting a year in between seasons, it feels like? Also, you're going to burn this show out because I'm going to tell you right now, you're waiting way too long in between seasons and the drama gets fizzled out much faster because it's playing out online and people put 2 and 2 together. I, at this point, have already dubbed Secret Lives of Mormon Wives as the new Hills. Everything is super produced. I don't believe a lot of the storylines are actually real. I think a lot of the fights now are absolutely produced, as well as the season finales, allegedly. Nonetheless, yeah. But November 13th is coincidentally also the same weekend as BravoCon. So I feel like Hulu's trying to like screw with us creators that also are mainly Bravo content, creators, but also we also watch Hulu and Netflix and November 13th. So you expect me to be in Las Vegas jumping around the strip trying to binge watch a whole season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives so that I can jump back on and try to recap it, which that is a monster of a show to recap when you have to recap all the episodes when you binge it the way I did season 2. Oh my gosh, my brain was fried. I've actually got to figure out now that I have more time how I can digest it and recap it in a better way. But yeah, so November 13th, guys. So if you're looking forward to it, if you also thought it was September, please let me know so I can have some validation. But yes, also, if you're watching this podcast, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, do all the things. I appreciate it. Also, if you're listening, wherever you're listening to this podcast, please do give me 5 stars. I really do appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Also, I dropped the first collection of merch, if you guys haven't noticed, based on the ad that played during this episode. But yes, all pre-orders are going to be free shipping for US customers. Unfortunately, for the tarot card deck, the Housewives and the Stars tarot card deck, thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered yours. I should say the tarot decks are limited quantities. So they're not going to, it's not like normal merch, like the t-shirts and stuff. So like, this is something a little bit different. So, hence why, I'm doing the pre-orders and whatnot. But yes, anything pre-order wise, you get free shipping in the US. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to ship internationally, for the tarot card, deck, but the rest of the merch, is fine. But the tarot cards, I unfortunately am not able to. Nonetheless, I am going to be doing a collaboration with my Housewives and the Stars tarot deck with Fem Tarot. Very soon, I am going to be sending her a deck. I'm waiting for mine to come in the mail as we speak. So once I get it and she gets it, we're going to do a collab. She's going to do a reading on, we're going to do some, Bravo pop culture hot topics. She's going to do a reading with my cards. We're going to have a good time. I'm very excited. But yes, this is super fun. I love creating stuff and finding new ways to innovate, something super niche, something like Housewives and Bravo TV. But this collection in particular, I did take a lot of inspiration from a lot of my own favorite designer t-shirts. I'm very much into like heavy metal graphic tees. I always have been. So there's one that's a spinoff of the Karl Lagerfeld Chanel kind of heavy metal rendition of a band t-shirt, if you will. And this is all for Baby Gorgeous. So drop number one is obviously, if you haven't figured it out, it's Baby Gorgeous. Yes, we do love her here at Georgio Says. And yeah, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm very excited for the new season ahead. And unfortunately, I will not be stopping doing these types of merch drops because I love creating these types of things. And there's so many to create things around. Also, I do have a fantastic windbreaker jacket available for pre-order. It's also great. It's, rain repellent. It's great in all kinds of weather, but it's really chic. It's really nice. It says Georgio University, so School of Real Housewives. But anyways, I'm getting that shortly. So once I get it, I will, do a post about it. Nonetheless, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, yes. Like I said earlier, there's a new episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. We do get, I believe it's Kiki Monique on this episode. And I do believe we're doing the lie detector test on this episode. So a lot happening. And then we have Real Housewives of Miami, which is a whole other shit show, let me tell you. But I will be recapping both of those shows for you guys tomorrow on the podcast. And so until the next episode, which is tomorrow, hello, Friday's here. It's a holiday weekend. Summer's completely done with officially. Oh, it's going to be okay. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Be safe, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.
We need to talk about this. Talk about this.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast.
We need to talk about this.